moving to the music together and kind of sharing that experience. And the bands came up with this approach of playing drum solos. It was something really energetic. People would jump around, it really got the crowd going. And they would play them in the breakdown. The breakdown was a concept that already existed. It's kind of a lull between sections of the track. And instead of just having a lull with some wishy-washy sounds in it, now they would have a drum solo, something really energetic, something very active. And so a combination of your breakdown and your beats kind of became break beats. And but these they became known as breaks, right? So these were short drum solos that came just in a little gap between different sections of the track. And so there were many breaks that became famous, but there's one that overwhelmingly became more famous than all the others. It's called the Amen break. It's from a 1969 soul track called Amen Brother by the Winstons. And it's just a 7-second drum solo. It's a really nice one. I'm going to play it for you. Played by Gregory Coleman was the guy's name. He was the drummer in the Winstons. And so this is the Amen break as played from his original recording. Oh. So you can hear kind of the syncopated kind of off-rhythm beats and the crash cymbals. But yeah, it's...
when was he playing this? What?
1969.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all there is?
Yeah, 7 seconds. That's all there is. Yeah. No, okay. So there was a whole track, and that's just a short thing in the middle. So if you look up the Wikipedia article on the Amen break, it will play it in context. I decided to just pull out the drum solo, but you can listen to the actual track. Amen Brother. The track itself was a B-side, never got much play, but that sample became one of the most sampled recordings of all time. And it's been used in many, many different styles of music, many, many tracks. And it's not just dance music as well. I believe there is an Oasis track that uses the Amen break.
If you get credited and money.
So I decided I had to talk about this aspect. So no, the Winstons never received any royalties for any of this. They never discovered until much, much later that any of this was happening. And in particular, Gregory Coleman died homeless, never received anything for it. Yeah, no, it is a sad story. It was just a recording that went around and everybody used it. Nobody, I mean, these were not professional musicians at this point. This was just something people were sharing with each other and making music from. But yeah, no, he played a really great drum solo. And according to the band leader, whose name I don't remember, it was his. I mean, he made it, he played it, and yeah, deserves the credit for it. But yeah, he never knew all that would be made out of it.
But, was the discovery of the Amen being completely serendipitous? Someone just heard it and thought this is good?
Yes, but in the sense that people were looking for these things, and
so there was a targeted sort of
yes, and people were looking. Once it became affordable that people could buy samplers, so it wasn't right from the beginning when they first existed. Then people were looking for tracks that would have individual beats that they could pull out and use for their layering a new sample. And there are others. The Sniper break became really famous as well, but the Amen break was just a particularly nice drum solo that had some nice sounds in it. And some of them, I would say, really just used the Amen break. They just repeat it many times. But then others have made really sophisticated rhythms out of just layering different bits. Some beats played backwards and forwards and layering many different aspects of it. So you can make really special sounds out of it.
I remember drum solos from the 1970s called rock bands. Did they ever get used like that, or was it open source?
I'm sure, yeah. So the only ones that I'm aware of, so I never got into production, I'm a DJ, and nowadays, on the whole, people don't use these things because we have software that can create all these things however you want. But but yeah, I'm sure there's a huge range of tracks that got used for this, but it had to be something, because nowadays there are ways of picking things apart, where you have a layered track. But in the beginning, you just needed something that was played as a solo. So I wanted to play a couple of tracks that were made based on the Amen break. So these are older tracks. So you can see that they've done a lot with it, so it's not the original sound. This is some of the earlier, quite experimental stuff, where they were just playing with, what's possible with electronic rhythms. So they got refined, particularly, so I play a track by is Atlantis by LTJ Bookham. So this is based on the Amen break, and this is one of the ones that became a really big hit. And there are many more. It really actually started with hip hop. So if people are aware of NWA, their first album, their big track was Straight Outta Compton. So the beats from that are from the Amen break, and Alternate did rave tracks back in the 80s based on it. Yeah, so there's a huge range. You can go and look it up. There's like lists of all the best tracks made from the Amen break. But of course, the technology moved on. People do still make stuff by sampling the Amen break, but it's kind of a labor of love. It's just a fun thing to do. But largely now, things are made based on the available software. But the concept of, we call them amens. It's a style of beat now, which is this rolling rhythm with the syncopated beats and the crash cymbals. So that's now really popular. And in fact, in 2024, very, very popular. So the next track I'll play you was released by, it's a cover track released by Aries this year. And you would definitely say that this is Amens. It's not sampled from the Amen break, but it owes a lot to Gregory Coleman's original.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
I'm enjoying it. So I'm kind of a DJ from the 90s. I just turned 45, so I'm often complaining about, what the kids are doing to ruin our music. But I got to say, there's some really good stuff coming out now. I've really been impressed about it. At the end, I guess I'll put it in the chat, a link to my SoundCloud. I've got 15 different hour-long recordings of various styles. It's mostly drum and bass, but also breakbeat and some house as well. And I recently did a recording that was Old Dog New Tricks, just trying to educate myself about the really good music that's being created now. A lot of stuff from this year, and it's really nice. They're really doing good stuff with it. It includes even stuff that I would call jungle. It's kind of refined, maybe not as chaotic as it was at the beginning, and it's using the benefits of having the technology. So I want to play an example of that. That's Uplifting, it's called, by DJ Ham, who I don't know, but I found the track and really liked it. And of course, the stepper rhythms from the 90s, they've also been updated. They have the modern versions of them, which I really like. I think they've done something very nice with it. So this is Ready or Not by Mooncat. Whoa. Sorry, I was starting to play another mix now. So that's giving you the overview. That's what I wanted to do. We start off with a definition, then we went through some of the different styles, though by no means all, and then gave you a bit of the history. there's much more that we could talk about, and maybe in the further questions or discussions over wine and pizza we will. But I thought long and hard then about what my final track would be. And the track I've selected is from 1995, which is when I first got into drum and bass, so it's kind of meaningful for me. It is sampled from the original Amen Break, which is nice for, just showing what can be done with it. I guess the reason why